Amidst all the hubbub about the Galaxy S4, the launch of the HTC One, the Apple iPhone 5, lower cost versions, and more, one thing was kind of missed out on last week, and that was the launch of the BlackBerry Z10. This thing just came out on AT&T, T-Mobile, and is coming very soon to Verizon Wireless, and I wanted to go back and see how this device competes with its features, with its specs, and more in comparison to the One, the Galaxy S4, and other hot devices on the market. This is the BlackBerry Z10. We're circling back and taking a look in this recap video, which starts right now. This is the BlackBerry Z10, and we've covered it on PhoneDog.com, but it is out in the US on AT&T, T-Mobile, and coming very soon to Verizon Wireless. The Z10 is an all-touchscreen device, 4.2-inch display, so comparatively speaking, a little bit smaller than what we've seen, obviously, from the Note 2 and the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One and all these other high-end contenders that are competing directly against this device on those various carriers. BlackBerry is trying hard to pick up that third-place spot that Windows Phone 8 is currently occupying, and they're going all out with a brand new operating system, BlackBerry 10, and brand new hardware. Let's take a look at this again, because I want to circle back on some of the features that after a month, I find particularly useful. And some people ask me, they say, what's your favorite, 3 or 5 features about a device? I'm going to go through some of mine on the BlackBerry Z10. First of all, one of my favorites on this device, the keyboard. Absolutely love the keyboard. It does a great job of prediction. And even though the display is only 4.2 inches, the phone moves fast, and it's pretty easy to type on. So you'll see me type something like Quick Brown Fox, and it recognizes, hey, he's probably going to say brown. He's probably going to say fox. He's probably going to say jumps over the lazy dog. Hey there, how are you doing this weekend? So, for example, it can auto-predict based on your typing patterns and your habits. I really enjoy the keyboard. You can see how few correction issues I'm having with this keyboard. And, of course, even though the display is only 4.2 inches, comparatively speaking, you can throw it into landscape mode and type. I think there's a market for these smaller devices like 4 and 4.2 inches because, obviously, the iPhone 5 has done incredibly well. The Z10, it remains to be seen how well it's doing just yet. But what I will say is it was interesting to me that BlackBerry launched at the 4.2-inch area. For example, iPhone 5's been small for some time, 3.5 inches, 4 inches, but right now everybody's kind of launching in the 5 to 5.5, 4.7, somewhere in there and kind of going down, whereas BlackBerry launched in 4.2, and perhaps it'll go up with some of their future devices. But right now, 4.2 inches may be too small for some, but I like the overall layout of this device and the look and feel. For example, you'll notice that was BlackBerry Hub, so I'll go back and I'll do something like open the calendar, and you'll see it brings up all my cards right here. So for example, remember, get out of that, and I'll have a couple different cards open so you can just take a look at the performance here, and I can move these around if I want to, and then I can get rid of each one as need be. So it's a nice little feature there. So the keyboard is one. The ability to move stuff around, the gesture stuff, is 2. Maps is also substantially improved in BlackBerry 10 and the BlackBerry Z10. We'll go to agree here, for example, and jump into the map, and we'll zoom out so you can see what it looks like or what Dallas looks like here, and I can play around with it. And unfortunately, you don't have the ability to do quite what Google Maps does, but you can see my location, I've got my places, and then I can show traffic as well and get a look and feel as to how traffic is in Dallas, which it's almost always bad. So I have a feeling quite a few of those roads are going to be yellow, if not red. You can see the traditional areas which we have traffic issues in Dallas. Another thing I like, BlackBerry Messenger, even though quite few people are using it in comparison to what they did a couple years ago, BlackBerry Messenger is particularly useful. And then last but not least, one thing I'm really enjoying is the camera. So overall camera quality, in my opinion, not the greatest when you're comparing it to the Note 2 or the Galaxy S4 or even the Galaxy S3, and then a couple of different things, things like Galaxy S3, and not just the features, but the overall performance of the camera. So I'll come down here, for example, and take a look at my Diet Snapple one I did just a minute ago. You'll notice the sepia there, and then, of course, there's the original image. So you can still see some noise around the image. I can see, for example, look at my wall behind it. You can see some noise, the papers, a little bit of noise all around on this picture, but I do like the editing options, which I'll talk about in just a second. I'll bring over the keyboard here so you can take a look and watch me do this real time. Go ahead and get it to focus in just a second. There we are. Snap that picture, and then I can go from that right here into my picture. And there actually is a nice little feature I like called Best Faces. Let's go in here. Actually, it's not called Best Faces on BlackBerry. I stand corrected. But you got this where I can click, and I can move around, and it allows me to detect the faces and say, let me find that place where everybody's smiling, nobody's eyes are shut, nobody's blinking, etc., etc., etc. So you've got that. Of course, I'll delete that. But I'll go back here to the keyboard image, and I can click right here and edit, and it'll bring up my editing area, and I can do, Lomo, for example. I can do antique, kind of an Instagram type thing that they've got going on here. Negative, watercolor, got whiteboard, what else? Sketch. Sketch is always a fun one. It's kind of hard to do because this is a white keyboard on metal background, as you can see here. But Sepia, for example, antique, I can hit done, and it'll save it as a new picture. Then from there, I can crop, I can change around the overall brightness of the picture, and more. So I've got a lot of different choices here I can do, and I like the editing on the device itself instead of emailing, editing, and then emailing back to the device. So one thing I really like about the 2012/2013 smartphones, the new ability to get things done on those devices. So this is definitely packed full of some pretty cool applications, but as it was announced this morning, about 20% of BlackBerry 10's 100,000 applications are Android-based applications. So you'd say about 20,000 of those 100,000 applications are Android-based applications. It remains to be seen how successful BlackBerry World's going to be, even though it has 100,000 apps. I keep doing that. I don't mean to do that. Even though it has 100,000 apps, like I said, quite a few of those are Android ports. But overall, really impressed with the device. That said, I don't know that I would spend $199 for this when I can get a Galaxy S3 or maybe a Galaxy S4 or a Note 2 or an HTC One for around that same price. I think what you get from those devices, both in the software ecosystem, the performance, with the quad-core processors and a ton of RAM and great cameras, features like HTC Zoe, features like Smart Stay on the Samsung side, you really get a lot for your money, whereas over here, $199, definitely some huge improvements for BlackBerry. Don't get me wrong. Loving the camera features. Those are nice. And keeping in mind where they were just 3 or 4 years ago, these are great improvements all around. They really did a good job with their second all-touchscreen device. Remember, after the Torch, even though it had a physical QWERTY keyboard, the Torch, and then, of course, the Storm series as well, which was the first all-touch BlackBerry device. But really impressed all around with some of the features. Glad that BBM is still here. The email options are still here. So, it brings BlackBerry's traditional base into the future, if you will. Kind of puts it on a competitive playing field with Android and with iOS. That said, still not sure that it can compete, at least price to price, apples to apples, with Android, with iOS, and even maybe with Windows Phone 8, although I'll leave that debate to another day, my friends. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for more on the BlackBerry Z10. Let me know what you think of this device at PhoneDog_Aaron. If you got this and you love it, there's a particular feature you like, let me know. I'd really love to have a conversation with you and talk about this at PhoneDog_Aaron, time permitting, and then at Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. Thanks for watching. Much more to come on the BlackBerry Z10 and more on PhoneDog.com. I'll see you next time.